All right, today we are diving into something pretty specific. It's a look at a very particular philosophy of seduction. Now, just to be clear, this isn't some universal how-to guide. Think of it more as us breaking down a single, stylized playbook, one that's all about mindset and strategy. So, let's just jump right in.
So, this whole philosophy really kicks off with this one core idea, which translates to, knowing how to seduce doesn't mean you know how to seduce. And what does that actually mean? Well, it's this idea that just knowing the theory, it's a completely different universe from actually having this skill. It's like reading a book about how to swim versus, actually being able to not drown in the water. Big difference.
And really, this applies to so many things in life, right? Think about dancing or trying to learn an instrument. The argument here is that you can't get good at social dynamics just by reading about it. Sure, you can watch videos, you can read all the books you want, and that gives you knowledge. But the skill? That only comes from getting out there, actually applying it, probably making a few mistakes, and learning from them.
Okay, so with that framework in mind, let's get practical. The first move in this playbook is all about setting the stage. And that starts with a simple choice. Where are you going to meet? Because that first decision, well, it says a whole lot.
Now here's what the playbook calls the amateur's mistake. You've got the expensive dinner and the movie. Why are these so bad? Well, the dinner basically screams, "I'm trying to impress you with my wallet," which immediately puts her on a pedestal. And the cinema? I mean, you're literally sitting in the dark, not talking. It completely defeats the purpose of getting to know someone.
So what's the pros move instead? It's all about low investment, high interaction. Think about it. A coffee, a walk in the park, it's casual, it's cheap, and it's all about conversation. Or something like mini golf or bowling. That creates a fun, playful vibe. You get to interact naturally without all the pressure and formality of a big dinner.
And this is where we get to the core mindset shift, and this is huge. The goal is not to go there and impress her. It's to figure out if she can impress you. See, the whole point isn't about selling yourself or trying to win her over. You're supposed to be the buyer, not the seller. You're there to see if she's a good fit for your life.
All right, so if that's the mindset, how does it actually play out in conversation? Because according to this playbook, it's not just about small talk. Oh no, there's a whole other layer to it. Every question kinda has a hidden purpose.
This brings us to a really interesting concept called cebos calificadores, or qualifying bait. So what is that? Well, it's those seemingly innocent questions she might ask. What do you do for a living? Or what's your favorite movie? The idea here is that the question isn't really about the content of your answer. It's a little test to see how you answer it. Are you going to jump at the chance to impress her?
So, you've got two ways to go here. On one hand, there's the logical response, which is what most people do. They try to give a really impressive answer. But on the other hand, there's the playful response, which completely flips the script. Instead of trying to sound super sophisticated, you might make a joke or say something completely unexpected. You're not playing her game, you're creating your own, one where you're not looking for her approval. And here's the big paradox, right? It's totally counterintuitive. The moment a woman sees that a man is not actively trying to impress her, she starts to become impressed. By showing you don't need her validation, you're communicating all this confidence and self-worth. It's kind of funny how that works.
Okay, and that idea of bait leads us right into the next topic, passing tests. Because according to this philosophy, these little challenges are going to pop up all the time.
So a test isn't necessarily an attack. It's not malicious. If she makes a little jab at you, like, "I don't like your shirt," it's really a subconscious question. What she's really asking is, how comfortable are you with yourself? Can you handle a little pressure, or are you going to crumble?
And how you react is everything. I mean, look at the difference here. If you get emotional or defensive, her perception is immediately insecure, low value. You failed the test. But if you're totally unmoved, maybe even playful about it, that's seen as confident and high value. You've just proved you're solid.
So, the key thing to get here is that your emotional non-reactivity is the correct answer. It almost doesn't matter what you say. You don't need some perfect, witty comeback. What matters is that you remain calm, unbothered. That's what communicates real inner strength. All right, so we've talked about the beginning and the middle of the interaction, but what about the end? Well, the perfect exit is just as critical, and this playbook is super intentional about it. Now, this might surprise you. The ideal length for a first date, according to this, is only about 20 to 40 minutes. Yeah, that's it. Why so short? Well, it keeps things high energy and impactful. You get in, you have a great interaction, and you get out before things have a chance to get boring.
And the rule is simple.
Always end the interaction on a high point. Think about it. The moment you're both laughing and having the best time, that's when you say, hey, this has been awesome, but I've got to get going. You leave right at the peak, so the memory she has of the date is entirely positive. You leave her wanting more.
And this all comes back to a pretty classic principle. Nobody values what's easy to get. By being the one to end it early, you're showing that your time is valuable, that you have a busy, interesting life. It's basic supply and demand. You're creating value by being just a little bit scarce.
But wait, it doesn't stop there. Just because the date is over doesn't mean the playbook is. That period right after you say goodbye, yeah, that's considered just as important. It's all about the echo of silence.
So, here's the post-date protocol, and it's all about one thing: avoiding neediness. The number one mistake? Texting her right away to ask if she had a good time. That just screams insecurity. Instead, the move here is to create space. Don't text for a day, maybe 2. Let her be the one to reach out first, and when you do reply, keep it brief.
So why is that silence so effective? Well, the goal isn't to convince her over text message how great you are. The goal is to let her imagination convince her. Your absence creates a little mystery. It gives her space to think about you, to wonder about you. And honestly, what her imagination comes up with is usually way more powerful than any text you could send.
So we've gone through all these tactics, right? The location, the conversation, how to handle tests, the perfect exit, but really all of it, every single piece comes down to one core mindset.
And it's all about this fundamental difference. Are you the seller or are you the buyer? The seller is the one seeking approval, giving away their value for free, and is terrified of losing the deal. But the buyer? The buyer sets the standards. The buyer determines the value. And most importantly, the buyer is always willing to walk away. This whole playbook is built on embodying that buyer's mindset. And that, right there, is the question this whole playbook leaves you with. Are you the seller or are you the buyer? It's a total reframe, isn't it? It shifts the whole dynamic away from being a performance to win someone over and turns it into a process of selection. It's a powerful idea to think about. So in your own interactions, which role are you playing?